Austin. Confirmation of your grid then. D'Italia Oakley on pole position ahead of Bezzecchi and Marini. Johan Zarco heads row 2 ahead of Pecco Bagnaia and the rain on the grid, and Pol Espargaro, who starts 9th. Bagnaia Bastianini completes your top 10 on the grid ahead of Marc Marquez, and the wildcard on the Aruba Ducati because Jorge Martin was given a 3-place grid penalty following 15th ahead of his teammate Brad Binder. Joan Mir is the first of the Suzukis back in 6th.
Be a shock result here today at the end of the 8th round, the 8th instalment of this intriguing 2022 World Championship speed record, 362.4 kilometres an hour. Will that be better today with back into his World Championship challenge? Of course, it still feels so strange, so bizarre to be racing here in homage and tribute to Valentino Rossi pre-race here yesterday. His day in Mugello. Will we see an Italian? Bagnaia Bastianini has his work cut out coming from the head of that 4th row World Championship. It's a whole different ball game when you win right here in the home in MotoGP. Trying to be the 12th Ducati winner in MotoGP. There's company long years ago.
Real sense of uncertainty then on the front row of the grid. The
Prix of Italy in MotoGP is go. Great launch off the line by the Palmer Fabio Di Gianantonio. Marco Bezzecchi stuttered away on that Mooney.
Still ahead, you can see one of the Vr46 Ducatis is Luca Marini, who's now battling, and he does get himself into the lead. Quartararo, actually saying that, did get a very...
What Hilight Motogp said he was going to do yesterday. Last night when the media spoke to him, had to be aggressive at the start of this Grand Prix. That's exactly what he's doing. African, that's Bezzecchi up through the inside of the Gianantonio, then through Pelagio. Down the hill they go into Correntaio then for the first time, and it's Marco Bezzecchi's been a good first lap, solid first lap for Fabio Di Gianantonio, still there in 3rd spot.
Let the slipstreaming commence then. Bezzecchi doesn't need it, and he goes straight.
The most important day of the weekend, isn't he? The South African. He's under attack though here from Pecco Bagnaia, and Bagnaia
would have wanted to be at this stage of the race with these inexperienced front row starters up ahead of him. Can Quartararo pick these riders off?
You now can see he's got up into 11th place, having got through on Oliveira, but no significant progress so far from the Grazzini man.
Quartararo's now past Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Won in Moto2. This is a whole different story as Fabio Quartararo slugs it out with Fabio Di Gianantonio on the brakes into San Donato. Nothing. Quartararo.
Di Gianantonio is not used to being in this company in a MotoGP race. He's got the reigning world champion behind him.
Bagnaia through, big threat if he got a good start. He's just betting himself now into this race. It's been picture perfect so
actually made good progress. He's up 7 spots now into 14th, but Joan Mir, who started in 17th, he's gone back a spot on the first lap.
Yeah. Just got himself up into the top 10 on this lap.
So Bagnaia now gets past Fabio Di Gianantonio. You don't have the 2 Vr46 Ducatis up front. Bezzecchi continues to lead Marini. Quartararo at the moment looking...
ride by the reigning world champion. This is why Fabio Quartararo won last year's world.
This will be the strategy that Yamaha will have no doubt tried to tell him to adopt. If he can get himself in this position, just try...
P22, shocking by the other 3 Yamahas. And Pecco Bagnaia does find a way through the night. He's getting everything he can, every ounce of performance out of himself and that Wisdar M1 right now to keep...
Bauer is doing a Herculean job here to keep his head above water against these other... Back in 9th at the moment.
Yellow flags are out in sector 3. Oh, Pol Espargaro just adding to more misery for Repsol. And look at this, Fabio Quartararo is going to get absolutely swamped. He's getting mullered here in terms of top speed. Bagnaia comes through on Marini and Quartararo in quick succession. Can he stop that factory to catch? He is the master though on worn tyres, isn't he, in MotoGP, so we won't discount him just yet. Jorge Martin, there are your top speeds. 226, 3.
Rins is still in 13th. Joan Mir still outside the points.
Poor old Pol Espargaro, the 3rd-year-old Spaniard, that now extends his record to just 20.
Slightly there, you can see the visible gap. Hilight Motogp, we're going to now see what kind of pace he does have up his sleeve. See if he can jump across this gap while Bezzecchi is still...
Having already made an overtake, they don't think, or he didn't think that they perhaps resist so much and be as aggressive against Pecco Bagnaia. Chalks up, it's Bezzecchi's advantage by just over 10th of a second, but here comes Pecco Bagnaia. He's got to be careful, he doesn't want to get sucked in too hot into Bezzecchi's slipstream and Donato. And now is his 3rd DNF in the last 4 races. The world operations, he's down and out while trying to get himself back into point scoring place. It's been an awful weekend all round for Suzuki.
And 7th at the moment. Alex Rins is now dropping down our timing screens as well. So if we lost both Suzukis, we have Rins has crashed out.
Bagnaia goes for the lead. He gets some slipstream. Marini looks like he's taken 3rd place back from Quartararo. How good is Quartararo on the brakes? And he had the pace if he did get the front to make a breakaway here. The Ducati fans there, the Red Army, they're loving it.
He's been challenging for victory, of course, won in that brilliant, mistake-free battle with Quartararo.
He's DNF'd in 5. He led early on here in Mugello last year when he crashed. He was leading in Misano last October.
47.5 for Aleix Espargaro last time around. The only rider ahead of him that was quicker.
Race, the sort of final third where he's normally exceptionally strong, but has he given himself too much to do to get himself back in podium qualification? Back at the front end of this Grand Prix. There is Bastianini. What can he do about it?
To have both bikes inside the top 10 would represent a good day's work for them.
Put it to Quartararo again and his crew chief Diego Gibelin here in Mugello. They've clearly found something that's given him more front-end feel. Points this would be for Fabio Quartararo. Of course, it would be increasing his lead in the World Championship as it stands right now with the Aleix Espargaro, his nearest rival. For a poor qualifying yesterday in 10th place, and then not the great first lap, we dropped down to 12th. Nothing that Fabio Quartararo can do about the top speed of the
up over 1 second. It was 9/10 of a second as they went across the line, and Quartararo in his desperate defence.
5 laps now, but because of the top speed of the Ducatis ahead of him, he can't find a way through in the slipstream and then outbrake them, just recover full fitness. That's why he's taking this surgery. Now then, a tussle side by side, the two Mooney Vr46 Ducati teammates. It's going to be advantage Bezzecchi. He'll have the inside. That's going to be really, really close.
Absolutely exceptional. On the last lap, he pulled 3/10 back on Pecco Bagnaia, the lead, just hovering around that 1 second mark.
Bastianini, with that mistake going through Casanova and Cervelli, was maybe a little bit forced to the curb onto the pit lane entrance there on the factory Ducati that will lead at the end of lap 13. Is that
Bastianini? Well, it's one of the
it's the beast. It's Bastianini losing the front going into turn number 4. Badly damaged. That's just
about far enough up ahead, and to his credit, he is clawing time back as well on Pecco Bagnaia as they come across the line now to get
11th in Mandalika, 1 in Texas, then DNF at the following Grand Prix in Portimao, and now he's 1 in Le Mans and DNF at the next Grand Prix. Like he's broken the resolve of Bezzecchi in 3rd place. Aleix Espargaro finally through then on a late over to the latest spec factory, Ducati GP22.
Aaron Pinder is doing consistent 48 threes, chasing Morbidelli and ahead of a bunch of guys.
Fair ride for Bezzecchi. This would be a memorable result if he could complete the job here today from
those positions on lap 1. You could just see him in the back of the picture there, chasing the battle between Zarco and Marini. Brilliant.
In MotoGP, he won't care because this will keep him firmly in title contention. It will be another podium. Bastianini.
Yeah, he's losing vital ground in the chase for the title, so Aleix Espargaro, if he can hold them off here.
Camilo and Marc Marquez for such a long time in that Spanish Grand Prix couldn't really make an overtake, wary of the front tyre temperature.
Quartararo is always so strong. The 3rd sector clicks up now, and again he pulls back 2/10 of a second, so 7/10 the lead.
Quartararo on the start-finish straight alone. Aleix Espargaro looks like he may well have broken Marco Bezzecchi's resolve.
Sector 4, which involves the majority of the main straight, and then Sector 1, which involves the rest of it. Bagnaia ultimately crumbled. That's what Quartararo will be looking to do at this stage. Just ask the question of Pecco. 1 behind him and 1 sat in the pits at the moment.
Carola Bagnaia there, the sister of Pecco Bagnaia, who does all of his media work and PR. A memorable victory here in front of his home crowd. Fabio Quartararo, though, keeping him on.
Marco Bezzecchi, that is not too shabby at all. Marini just behind them in 6th, and they've got company coming soon. In the shape
comes to this point where the Ducati just starts to eat up the miles down this long start-finish.
MotoGP class, he got his first points last time around when he finished 13th in Le Mans. He's down to 11th. He's just been passed by Marc Marquez, the fastest rider.
Maverick Vinales has got top 6, top 10 pace on that factory of Aprilia. He's got to move on quickly to Barcelona next weekend, but there'll be a lot of Prosecco flowing at the Ducati HQ, about an hour's drive.
5 in the Aprilia as he's chasing down to Gian Antonio. Bezzecchi is quicker than the 3 riders ahead.
Technical circuit, but Marco Bezzecchi's appeared here on a MotoGP bike, and what a job he happened this time around so far. Bagnaia has resisted the pressure.
Pulled out half a second already over the course of this lap on Mark. We're on the final lap.
Well, this man's mentor, Valentino Rossi, used to be the master of It's been no problemo so far on home soil. His home fans, the Ducatisti, they're going to be going ballistic.
It is all over the back of Luca Marini. You can see them in the background. 1 corner to go, though.
Pecco Bagnaia then in. Pecco Bagnaia, he's been brilliant here in Mugello. He is the master of Mugello. 4th consecutive Grand Prix, his 5th podium of the season on the case, rounding out the top 10. Davide Tardozzi, as he so often does, kicks off the wild.
Are dead level across the finish line. It currently shows Gian Antonio running in 11th.